Priestly celibacy. It's the discipline by which priests in the Latin Rite Catholic Church remain unmarried and dedicate themselves completely to Christ and His Church. Priestly celibacy is a discipline, not a dogma, meaning the Church can change it. According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, all ordained ministers of the Latin Church are supposed to be celibate. What is the Latin Church? It is the largest of the 24 autonomous churches that make up the Catholic Church. The Catechism goes on to say, with the exception of permanent deacons. So that means celibacy isn't mandatory for permanent deacons. The priest must live a celibate life and intend to be celibate for the sake of the kingdom of heaven, meaning they must be unmarried and intend to stay unmarried. This comes from Christ's teaching that there are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Let anyone accept this who can. An eunuch was a man who couldn't father children, and Jesus uses this term here to describe those who renounce marriage for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Jesus is calling men who can accept it to be celibate. In 1 Corinthians, St. Paul lays out a case for celibacy and says that it is well for them to remain unmarried as I am. The unmarried man is anxious about the affairs of the Lord, how to please the Lord, but the married man is anxious about the affairs of the world, how to please his wife, and his interests are divided. And he who refrains from marriage will do better. St. Paul reminds us about a practical aspect of celibacy, that priests must serve with an undivided heart to the Lord. Now, suppose a priest were to be married. His attention would be split between the church and his wife. But the celibate man can focus all his time, energy, and attention on the church. Celibacy is mandated not because marriage is bad or inferior, rather because the priest is called to give himself totally to the Lord and the church. Christ's example and the priest. As Catholics, we believe that when the priest administers the sacraments, he acts in persona Christi, in the person of Christ. The priest therefore sacramentally represents Christ, who himself lived a celibate life. Jesus Christ lived a celibate life. The priest imitates Christ through celibacy. Moreover, Scripture presents Christ not only as celibate, but as the bridegroom, with the church as his bride. The priest's celibacy can therefore serve as a sign of Christ's spousal love and total gift to his church. The Catechism highlights this in explaining consecrated life and celibacy. The historical development of clerical celibacy. During the Apostolic Age, celibacy was highly revered, though it was not definitively taught as a universal requirement for clergy. The early church fathers increasingly praised celibacy as a special gift dedicated to God. In the 4th century, the local synod of Elvira required clergy to practice continence. The First and the Second Lateran Councils re-emphasized the Latin Church's discipline on clerical celibacy. The Council of Trent in 1563 firmly defended clerical celibacy. Finally, the Second Vatican Council in Presbyterorum Ordinis 16 extensively teaches about celibacy and also firmly defends the discipline of clerical celibacy. But it also mentions celibacy is not demanded of the priesthood by its nature, since it's a discipline. That's why the Church allows for traditions such as the Eastern Church to allow married people to be priests. But for whatever rite, bishops or the episcopate must always be celibate. Celibacy must not be viewed as a rule or burden, but a gift that priests receive from God. Pope St. John Paul II says, "The vow of celibacy is a matter of keeping one's word to Christ and the Church, a duty and proof of the priest's inner maturity. It is the expression of his personal dignity." But celibacy is not always easy. Some priests can experience loneliness or other difficulties in living out their vocation. This is why we, as the laity, should support our priests through our prayers, friendship, encouragement, and Christian fellowship. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.